Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss a new topic, that is release and function of histamines. Actually, histamine is an important chemical messenger which is communicating information from one cell to another and involved in a variety of complex biological actions. Okay. Now, histamines is a biogenic amine which is formed in many tissues. It is also found in a venom of bees, wasps, and other sting secretion and release. Actually, in human, histamine is formed by the decarboxylation of the amino acid histidine, and in the large amount of histamine are found in the lungs, skin, and intestine, and it is stored in the granules of the mast cells and basophils in an inactive form. Actually, degranulations of the mast cells releases histamine, which is quickly degraded by the deamination and methylation. And non-mast cells, histamine found in brain serves as neurotransmitters. Actually, non-mast cell histamine is also found in many other tissues, like the endochromaffin cells. We could say the ECL cells in the fundus of the stomach release histamine, which in turn activates the H2 receptor on the gastric parietal cells to stimulate acid secretion. Okay, so now come to the point, that is release and function of the endogenous histamine. Actually, histamine is released because of the interaction of the antigen with the IgE antibodies on the mast cell surface and plays a central role in immediate hypersensitive reaction. So, the pathway of the release and function of histamine, that is antigens and antibodies in mast cells, which is comes after the reaction. It makes the activates tyrosine protein kinase and phosphatidyl inositol triphosphate is makes the inositol triphosphate, which is doing the phosphorylation reaction and activation of the phospholipase C4, and after the inositol triphosphate it makes the trigger calcium ions, and after the phosphorylation and activation of phospholipid cells, the calcium ion induced and fusion of granule membrane result in release of granule content, which in granules positively charged the histamine is complexed with the negatively charged protein. After then the cationic exchange with extracellular sodium ion sets and histamine free and acts on target cell. That means these steps are involved in the release of histamine. Now next point, that is histamine and gastric acid secretion. Actually, histamine is a powerful gastric acid secretogue and evokes a copies secretion of acid from the parietal cells by acting on the H2 receptor. The output of pepsin and intrinsic factors are also increased. Now come to the pathway, that is food or external stimuli or stress are secreted the vagus and from the vagus, and after that the acetylcholine is released from the nicotinic receptor in GIT and muscarinic receptor in GIT. These are the two type of receptor which is secreted from the acetylcholine, and after the release store acetylcholine from the stored site. After then the stimulation muscarinic receptor in histaminocyte, and after then release the histamine and act on the H2 receptor of the parietal cells. After then increases the CAMP and increase the calcium release, and then they activates the potassium and hydrogen ATPase. After the activation of potassium and hydrogen ions and ATPase, these are increases the gastric acid secretion. This is the histamine induced gastric acid secretion, which is therapeutically available antagonist of the histamine receptors, which is used as an anti-allergic drug by targeting H1 receptor and as anti-ulcers by targeting H2 receptor. These this is about the release and action of the histamine. Actually, histamine dilates the small blood vessels, resulting in hypotension accompanied by reflex tachycardia, which is cerebral blood vessel dilating the producing several thrombic headache. Okay, and histamine causes contraction of the non-vascular smooth muscles, thus bronchospasm and increased intestinal motility are produced. Action on other visceral smooth muscles like uterus are insignificant in humans. And other action of the histamine is a powerful stimulant of the gastric acid secretion, which is act through H2 receptor. It also stimulates the pepsin and intrinsic factors secretion from through the glands. And histamine function as a neurotransmitter in the CNS. Histamine stimulates sensory nerve ending, causing pain and itching. Hope you understand about the functions and release of the endogenous histamine. Thank you.